Thank you guys so much for being here. My name's Jenelle Riley. I'm an editor at Variety. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be doing this Career Cute conversation with Renée Zellweger. Since her breakthrough roles in films like Empire Records and Jerry Maguire, this is an actress who is always surprising us with bold choices and terrific performances. She is, of course, a 3-time Academy Award nominee for her work in Cold Mountain. My notes cut off there, but I actually know this off the top of my head. Chicago and Bridget Jones' Diary. Oh, phew. Okay, pulled that out. She has created such indelible characters that include, but are not limited to, Roxy Hart, Bridget Jones, Nurse Betty, and Dorothy Boyd. Still, I doubt even her biggest fans were prepared for her completely transformative work as Judy Garland in Judy, for which she has already earned Golden Globe, Spirit Award, and SAG Award nominations. Please welcome Renée Zellweger.
She's here. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hi.
Here we go.
Oh, that's really kind. Thank you. Hi. Oh my goodness. That's very sweet. Thank you. What a kind welcome. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for being here. These are all fellow actors, fellow SAG members.
Love
it.
So I knew I didn't need to change into fancy clothes to get here. I'm with my people. I knew it.
So I actually always like to start at the beginning and ask, how did you get your SAG card? What was the job that brought that to you?
Right, that's a conundrum, isn't it? Do you guys remember that? Going, right, okay, so I just have to work in a SAG thing to get my SAG card. But I can't work in a SAG thing unless I have my SAG card. I didn't major in math, but no, even if I did that, nah, there's no way around that. Coors Light.
Well, that's right. It was Coors Light commercial.
It was a Coors Light commercial.
Okay.
And I think it was just an accidental fluke kind of thing. I don't think it was meant to be anything special. And then suddenly, I think it was one of those mystery upgrades that you don't understand at that time. Yeah, it was a mystery upgrade.
Do you have a line in it? Do you remember?
Oh, absolutely not. No. No, I played volleyball on the beach and burnt my retinas on reflector foil and rollerbladed down a hill before I knew how to stop. Sometimes you lie.
Oh, special skills. Sure. Was that shot out here, or did you shoot that in Texas still?
We went to Mexico.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so this is when you were still living in Texas, and they flew you down to Mexico?
Awesome. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was.
Wow.
Poor and young and going to Mexico. I can rollerblade.
And play volleyball. I actually want to go back and start at the beginning, because you were born and I believe raised in Katy, Texas, which is, far away from the bright lights of Hollywood. When did you know that you wanted to be an actor?
In college, on the set of a thesis film that a student of film was making. And there were maybe 5 of us who were on her cast and crew. So I'd roll the boom sometimes. Yeah, young woman. She was in Rick Linklater's class, which is kind of fun. And yeah, she just needed some actors. And so anytime anyone asks me, how do I get a start? I don't know now, because all the online stuff, it seems there's so much more of an opportunity to be seen. But I still think going down there to the film school and submitting your headshot is worthwhile. Probably, right? Is that still good advice, or am I giving away my generation?
Because you're working you're working with the next generation of filmmakers, possibly.
I would think. So that was it. We were on the set in the middle of nowhere, and we were doing this Flannery O'Connor short story, or her interpretation of it, and I don't know. I got the bug. I didn't understand why this felt very important to me, but I couldn't wait for the next opportunity.
Was this the first thing you'd done?
Acting, yes. To make some money, I had done a little bit of commercial photography with local, Austin, still an art town, and the place was just chock-a-block with artists of, in every medium. When in the 90s, when I was, out there. So this one's going to be a photographer, he needs models, and this one's writing music, and he needs a singer, and this one's, and so you kind of hop around with your friends and do these little projects together. So I had done a lot of, just local print stuff, just for, for friends, and then I had done some commercial work to pay for college, because boy, oh boy, those residual checks go a long way.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
So you weren't someone who did like school plays or anything like that?
I did, but I was really small, and I looked younger than I was, and so my theater director kind of had a hard time taking me seriously.
Really?
Yeah. So
where is he now?
She
I did it again.
She's still, she's still teaching, and she was a lot of fun, and it was fun.
Yeah.
We did one-act plays, and we did children's theater. Every year at spring break, we would do a children's play, and we would be the field trip for the elementary schools. They would come and see our little play that we put on. So there you go.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, loved it.
So when you made the decision that this was something you wanted to pursue as a career, did you take classes? Were you completely self-taught? Where did you even start?
I took a theater class as a requirement to get my degree. I didn't do it because I thought I wanted to be an actress.
Really?
No, I remembered that I loved it as a kid, but I thought I was going to write. And this was a requirement to get your fine arts, Thank goodness it's still a requirement. And I went and took the class because it fit in the schedule between my late night, job and everything else that was going on. And I loved it.
Really?
Yeah, but that wasn't it. It was that thesis film.
Did you actually learn a certain method in that class that you still use today?
No. We didn't really study. We just performed things. So you would write your own stuff, and then you would perform it. Yeah, it was
That is
cool.
a way of learning, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So.
And you actually booked quite a few things when you were in Texas. I believe 8 Seconds was filmed there.
Yeah.
John G. Avildsen,
yes.
Great director. And I believe you did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation when you were there. Both booked in Texas.
Best workout of my life.
Which starred future fellow Oscar winner Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. That's
I mean, it sounds silly, but when you were on that set, could you tell he was going places? I set you up for that one. That wasn't fair.
For us on that set, we were just excited that we had a job.
Yeah.
And so the goal was to get another job, And so I don't know, maybe he had dreams and things. Well, I knew he was going to move out to Los Angeles. I knew that. He was reading for other roles in films, and not long after he moved out here, and he got Angels in the Outfield. I think it was probably because people were responding to Dazed and Confused before it was released.
Yes.
Because when we were shooting Chainsaw Massacre, that film wasn't released yet. So he moved out about, I think, 6 months, maybe 9 months, a year before I did.
What was the deciding factor in you moving out to Los Angeles?
It was a hard one because it wasn't in the cards.
Really?
Well, not the cards that I picked for myself anyway. But when does that ever work? I wanted to stay in Texas. I just thought I'll just keep working and I can live in my town and stay here with my friends and make a living, But at that time, that wasn't true. It might be more true now.
Well, you were booking a lot of work.
I was busy, I was busy. But at some point, I understood that it wasn't a job. It was a creative opportunity, and it was, with every job, becoming increasingly more important to me. And I can't explain it. I've thought a lot about it, but why does a painter choose a canvas and paint? I don't know. Why don't I make sculpture? I don't know. Photography, whatever it is that grabs your heart, it's sort of inexplicable. And that's what was happening to me. And my opportunities to work continued, but my opportunity to grow as an artist was a little bit stifled. Sure. There wasn't a lot of film that came to town. It was wonderful though, because when you did work on a film, it was the same crew, so you knew everybody.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it was great. There were, a couple of players that would come and go because some things were shooting simultaneously, but it was much rarer then that you had 3 or 4 films happening in Texas at once. Now it's, pretty standard. I got this call, and I was going through this this thought. I was thinking, I don't think I have to go. I can stay here, and I can stay here. And the phone rang, and it was my agent saying, hey, got a job for you. And I said, yep, see, there you go. I don't have to go anywhere. And he said, it's up in Dallas, you got to go, tomorrow if you want to do it. It's Long John Silver's. And I thought, that's good money.
Yeah.
You can make a killing on Long John Silver's, No, I thought, right, I get it. If I want to explore different creative experiences, I would need to go where there were more opportunities.
Well, I was curious because I know you received an Independent Spirit Award for Best Debut Performance for 11 to 45. And after that, I was wondering if that raised your profile, if people were encouraging you to come out, or it was always going to be the plan?
I had just come out at that point.
Oh, okay.
And the phone started to ring, which was really weird because I didn't give anybody my phone number.
Really?
So that was weird.
That's really weird.
And this is before social media, right? Hollywood, man, they will find you, right? It was just, it was a friend of a friend from a producer of a thing, and, from 11 to 45, that film, which I had shot while I was still living in Los Angeles.
Oh, you did shoot that in LA?
Texas. I was still living in Austin. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And one of, I think, your big sort of breakthrough roles was Empire Records, which has like such a beloved cult following. Did you know sort of at the time that you were onto something special? Because that's one of those movies that I don't know if it made a big impact on the time, but in the years since its release, people love that movie.
Yeah, it was, it's so weird to think that it was sort of, I don't know, at the tail end of an era.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like that at the time, that it was going to change so profoundly in just a matter of, I don't know, maybe 5 years. Mm-hmm. But no, it was just an adventure at the time. It was special because the actors were a lot of fun, and I felt like we were at Warhol's factory or something, because Alan, who directed the film, was such a savant, and he was so creatively fluid, and he wanted everything to kind of flow and just see what happened quite a bit. So that was my first experience with that. It was pretty fun.
Have you gone back and watched that recently, or are you someone who never watches your performances?
Every day.
Every day, yeah.
Come on over, guys.
It holds up really well. I really think it was ahead of its time.
I'll have to go back and have a look.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, it felt cool to me at the time.
Yeah, it's a great cast too.
Yeah, for sure.
And you followed that with what I think was your big commercial breakthrough with Jerry Maguire, where you played the single mother who falls for Tom Cruise's title character. I know that was a big get, as they say. A lot of people wanted that role. Tom Cruise has never been, well, he's still doing really well, don't get me wrong, but that was really at the peak of his fame. What do you remember about the process of booking that role?
Wow, everything. I remember everything.
Really?
Oh, I remember everything about that, except what song I was playing. I think it was by a band called Everything But the Girl. And my manager gave me the CD the day before. And I remember popping it into the player and rolling all the windows down and laughing all the way to Sony.
Was this for the audition or when you got the part?
It was for the audition. Uh-huh. Yeah. I
mean, did you realize what a big deal this was when those sides came in and when you first went in for the meeting, or did you try not to think about it?
It didn't really seem like a possibility to me, so it didn't really matter. I just wanted to do a good job for the casting director, who I really liked. And then I wanted to do a good job for Cameron when I met him, and he just felt kindred to me right away.
Yeah.
You know, he's a music guy. You know, I didn't know that at all. I didn't understand at the time. This is really embarrassing, especially being that I did go to university, that the posters on the wall in James Brooks' office.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, we love the same things.
That's awesome.
I get it now. But yeah, I was naive. I was green, and I wasn't, you know, I wasn't looking for anything.
Yeah.
So there was never any disappointment. It was all just really cool and just a really neat adventure just to see what would happen next. And the fact that that was going to be on the list was hilarious to me, you know? How does that happen, you know?
You must be good at auditioning, I'm presuming.
Oh, I don't know.
You did pretty well out of the gate.
Oh, well, yeah, you didn't see me in Woody Allen's office. Oh, y'all. Oh, no. If you look up Circle the Drain, there's my picture in the chair in Woody Allen's office. It was not pretty.
Was this after Jerry Maguire?
It was before.
Oh, okay.
It was right after 11 to 45 came out, which I guess was in like 94. And I didn't really grow up a connoisseur of film. I mean, I'm not a cinephile. We didn't have access to a movie theater where I lived, and we didn't have cable. So, you know, you watched Wizard of Oz, and you watched The Sound of Music every year. There's one more in there.
It's a Wonderful Life?
There's that one at Christmas time. And what's that?
Peter Pan.
Oh, sure, yeah. Went to see that at the movies because, you know, back in the day when they'd play children's movies for like a month. Remember that?
Yeah. When they stayed in theaters?
Yeah. So I didn't know Woody Allen's work, but all my friends that I had made out in Los Angeles were very aware of, you know, his importance as a filmmaker. And then I got nervous. And then I was flying there going, this is premature. This is really too soon. This is too soon. I'm not ready for this.
Do you think that you self-sabotaged it, or you were just nervous?
100%.
Yeah, really?
Oh, 100%. What a loser.
I think it turned out okay.
It's all right. Yeah, no, it's fine. Part of the adventure. It's a lot better story than everything went great. It was great.
I mean, did you have to do a scene, or did you just freeze up? Or
Yeah,
was it just
I had to do a scene. Yeah, it was for Mighty Aphrodite.
Oh, okay, sure.
And the scene was, I mean, it's cold, you know, you don't know what you're going to do until you get there.
It's terrifying.
So he hands the sides, and did you guys know the Mighty Aphrodite film?
With Mira Sorvino.
Right, right. She's fantastic
Amazing.
in this film.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter if I did the best audition of my life. It would not have happened or have been that, you know?
Yeah,
she was amazing. It's that really explicit scene where she's talking about having multiple partners at one time. Hi, nice to meet you. Oh. I'm just going to go out in the hall and learn these words that I don't really use and say them to you.
So no time to prepare?
No.
Oh, wow.
No.
Yeah.
It was cool, though. I went into his projection room, and there was celluloid, and it was on the floor. Oh, wow. You know, there was splices of things everywhere. And this... a magazine, like a hot rod magazine, which I thought was interesting. But what a cool story to have been in Woody Allen's cutting room.
Yeah, it's almost better that it went badly. Now you'll remember it.
I'm going with that.
Obviously your Jerry Maguire audition must have gone pretty well because you landed the part. Do you remember when you got the news? Because you said you couldn't even believe this was happening. I mean, when did it finally sink in? Well,
we were at Sundance with The Whole Wide World.
Oh, sure.
Which was Dan Arlen's first picture, and he started the Seattle Film Festival. He's passed now. I'm very sad about that, but what an adventure that was. We shot that in Austin in 1995 in the summer, and here we were going to Sundance. I mean, what?
This was your first time at Sundance?
Second.
Right,
I went for 5 minutes for 11 to 45.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And met John Carabino there.
Oh, that's your manager to this day.
He's my No, I met him at Toronto. Sorry. Wrong film festival. The hard drive's getting
Wait,
full.
how long have you guys been together?
How long have we been married? 26 years.
26 years he's been your manager? Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Lucky. Very lucky.
So you were there at the Sundance Film Festival, is that when you got the word?
Yeah, it had been a while. And so I kind of felt, oh no, it's,
Right.
it's okay. I had a great day. Had a lot of fun on the set at Sony doing the screen test.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. And so my whole family came up because we were going to Sundance for the whole wide world premiere. And so my mom and dad came, and my dog was there, and my brother had gone out because the phone rang, and it was Cameron, and he said, hey Z. I said, hi. And here it comes, he's like, so I just want to say, it was really great hanging out and getting to meet you, and I mean, thank you. I'm like, just hurry up and break my heart already, would you? And he said, it's great, you did a great job, and it was just a lot of fun. And I just wanted to thank you for coming out and doing all that with us. And I said, yeah. No, thank you. It was awesome. He said, yeah. So I was wondering if, you want the part?
Wow. What did you say?
I'll think about it.
I told him I'd have to see if I was available. I was. So the next day, I think there was an announcement about it in Variety or something like that. And this was, I guess, my first big deal thingy. My brother went out to get the Variety, because they throw them around at Sundance.
Yeah.
He came back with a stack of Variety.
That's so sweet.
I know, I could cry just thinking about it. He's sweet. How lucky is that?
Dorothy was I talk like she's passed or something, but she's such a great character. It's such a great movie. I actually have a question from the audience. I think it's Richard, is that correct? Says, I fell in love with you and Jerry Maguire like the rest of the world did. How many times
Richard.
a week
Thank
do you
you.
hear you had me at hello? And do you ever tire of that?
No. Not enough. No. There's a couple of times. I don't go out much, so, it'd be weird if I heard it a lot.
You hear it inside the house, yeah.
Yeah, no, but it still touches me. Mm-hmm. It's what a cool thing, that somebody gives you a line like that, right? Come on.
Iconic.
Yep.
Right? He's a hell of a writer, that man, isn't he?
He's really, really great filmmaker.
Yes.
How did that movie sort of change your not only your career, obviously, it really shot you into the stratosphere, but how did it change your life, both, whether in a good way or sometimes a negative way when you're suddenly put in the spotlight like that?
Well, there's that. I know that it changed my life in ways that I don't really see, because John Carabino is there and he's busy.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I went to go do a little film in New York called Price Above Rubies.
Right.
For like 5 cents. We were making it, and
very different character too.
Yeah, very, very. And it was, what a great experience that was. Back in the honey wagons where the toilet is your couch, is your, table is your, you know what I mean? That little rant. It's a little creepy when it's cushioned, don't you think? It's a little creepy when it's cushioned. But so I was doing that when all this other stuff was going on.
Really?
And I didn't go. I didn't do promotion for Jerry Maguire. In fact, I asked John Carbino if I could please have a publicist person to say no for me. Because I didn't want to upset anybody. I wanted to be responsible and grateful, but I wasn't ready to be the lady on the couch.
Wow.
You know, I wasn't ready for that. I knew that was going to turn my life upside down, and I just kind of wanted to put my toe in the water and step in slowly.
So did you do any interviews?
I think I went on Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah, okay, so I did that. And I think I might have like a Woody Allen personality, because I think I brought the Woody Allen personality to the Rosie show. I'm pretty sure. the nervous
You mean
thing.
you botched it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
No, come on. I'm sure you're
for
great.
sure. Oh no, for sure. But I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things when it's so surreal that you kind of don't have a context for what it is that you're experiencing.
Well, it's a weird situation too, to bring someone onto a set with a giant audience and, you know, just start chatting. So your first time's going to be bumpy, probably.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I think maybe took some pictures. I think maybe, and then when Price by Rubies came out or something, I think I did a press junket for that because it was a smaller film. I went to National Board of Review for that and did interviews for that. I remember that. Anyway, is anybody still awake out there? Because I'm boring myself to sleep.
Well, it's interesting because by the year 2000, a movie I really want to touch on is Nurse Betty, which was such a dark comedy, but really like heart-wrenching movie from Neil LaBute. And I know that you won a Golden Globe Award for your performance, but you were in the bathroom when they called your name. Yeah. Now I'm starting to wonder if you were purposely hiding because you have this pattern.
I was.
Were you really?
God, I sound like I have a complex. I promise I don't have a complex. This is early days, new experiences, brand new. I had just finished Bridget Jones, I think. I had gone through a breakup, big heartbreaking breakup thing, as they are. I guess that's why it's called a breakup, Anyway, and then it's time to put on a dress and go, do your thing. And you really don't even really feel like, putting on jeans to go to the coffee shop, let alone. But anyway, what a treat to be invited to that.
Yeah.
Super, it was cool. But I felt really awkward because you before you learn how to do something like that, it feels, it was a privilege, and I loved my dress and all that stuff, but I guess when your brain is someplace else, it's a skill that you develop to compartmentalize, to sort of put your personal life aside and go and enjoy this moment that might never happen again, right? And so there was a lot of that. And so I was with my friend, I was with John Carbino and all my friends, and it was really neat. It was a fun night. And I got on the red carpet, and, there were like condolences in the interviews. It's like, so you did, it's not about winning, right? It's about, it's that, this movie really, it touched people and, whatever it was. And by the end of the thing, I was like, okay, I just, so sat at my table and, I was just thinking about how uncomfortable I was at that moment. And I thought, I could just go for a little walk and I'll just go to the bathroom for a second and just like, lipstick. I'm going to go and put on some lipstick. That's the answer. So I went back to the bathroom, and we looked on the program, and I was with Kevin Huvain, and who was the other gentleman? Let me think. Wasn't it Diane Fostenberg's husband? Yep, very Diller. And they were sitting next to me, and we looked at and they were going to go to the bathroom, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to jump on this. I'm going with them. So we all looked at the program to make sure that it was a good time to go, and the lights had come on in the room, which indicates that, or gone off in the room, rather, which indicates that they're cooling the room and the show is not on for the moment. We go to the bathroom, and I'm digging through my purse, and I'm looking around, and, you know, put my lipstick on and put it back in, and it won't close. It won't. You know what I mean? It won't close. And so something's got to go, right? In this tiny little, I mean, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, right? It's like, you can't even take a key holder. You can maybe get a key in there, you know, if you remember it. So no, it won't close. And then I look up and I go, oh my goodness, that's a little too much lipstick. I better get that off. So I'm looking around, I get a napkin and I'm wiping off the lipstick and throw the napkin in the trash. And then I'm still trying to close this Rubik's Cube of a maze of a purse, and it won't close. So I'm like, you know what, I don't need lipstick anymore. I'm gonna put the lipstick on it, and I did too much of it, so if I can stay there all night, so I'm throw out the lipstick. Click. Perfect. Oh, that's too much. I wiped off too much lipstick. Okay, now I'm going in. So I'm digging in the trash for my lipstick. And I hear this man screaming, hey, come on. And I'm like, oh my God, don't they know that the thing is televised and they can hear him screaming? Renee! And it still doesn't occur to me. I'm thinking, you know, there's a lot of Renees at the Golden Globe. And I'm digging. And then I thought, and then a young lady came over to me and she nudged me and she said, I think he's talking to you. So I left the lipstick and I poked my head out, and Kevin and Barry said, you gotta come now. You won. Oh. You gotta come now.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think the moment would have come and gone if not for sweet Hugh Grant doing his soft shoe up there.
That's right, he was presenting to you.
Trying to stretch out the moment, you know. Anyway.
Hugh Grant had his most befuddled if you watch the clip. Yeah,
Was he?
Yeah, he's just not sure where you are because he knows you're there. Were you guys already shooting Bridget Jones at that point?
We had just finished.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
we finished.
Knew each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so you didn't deliberately self-sabotage. It sounds like it was an accident.
Oh, well, that part, certainly. Well, it didn't occur to me that was a possibility either, you know. So it was perfectly safe to go to the restroom, in my opinion. You know.
And as we mentioned, you followed that with Bridget Jones' Diary, which was an adaptation of this beloved book, because you were so great, or you are so great, and it was so successful and spawned 2 great sequels. I think maybe a lot of people don't know that it was kind of slightly controversial casting at the time. You know, I don't know if it was because like people thought it should be a Brit, or because she's just such a beloved character. Were you able to just tune that out and go off and be awesome?
You are good for a girl's ego. I tell you what, I can just slide that in there like that. I would never think about it that way, but thank you.
No,
that.
I mean,
very,
who doesn't love
kind.
Bridget Jones? First Oscar nomination, should have won.
That's really kind.
I mean, it's very rare actually for a comedic performance like that to get recognized by the Academy.
Yeah,
they're getting better about it.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, because there have been some performances. I
know, right?
Like Joan Cusack in The Addams Family.
Joan Cusack in everything.
Well, in everything.
Yeah.
But you guys, I mean, wasn't she just off the charts? Anyway, I digress.
We didn't have social media back then, so maybe it was easier to tune that stuff out.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah. Well, I hope I didn't just make you aware of it. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'll be okay about it now.
It turned out okay.
I mean, there were tiny bits of it that I would see just because of the nature of the research that I was doing, because I was working at Picador Publishing, which represented Helen Fielding, and in my internship, I wanted to work with the publishers to understand what Bridget did, what her work was. So they pretended that I was the cousin of the editor there. So the nepotism made sense. And I had been studying in America for 10 years, which explained my weird accent.
Really? But
Yeah.
you nailed the British accent when you had to.
Oh, thanks very much.
Yeah.
I had a lot of help, consistent help for a long time.
After 3 movies, over the course of all these years, why do you think people love Bridget so much?
I mean, she's the Woody Allen personality. It's her humanity.
Yeah.
I think that, first of all, what's not to love about a woman who has so much joy, clearly, and who fearlessly goes forward despite her self-doubt. Mm-hmm. And finally, she finds self-acceptance in different spurts in her life like we all do. And to sort of be able to relate to a person who is imperfect, but still has triumphs all the time. Yeah. Because that's the truth in life, isn't it? Yeah.
And your chemistry with Colin Firth is so amazing. It's funny to me because in the book, Bridget Jones, the character, is obsessed with Colin Firth. And obviously you can't do that in the movie because he's right there playing Mark Darcy. By the way, someone just asked me this today. Is Bridget Jones' Diary a Christmas movie?
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I would say yes.
Yeah, I would say yes. I mean, that it ends with the snow, the first one.
It starts at Christmas?
It starts at Christmas. We're going to go on holiday. Oh, certainly. Yeah, it could be.
All right.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about it that way, but yeah, sure, why not?
Is Die Hard? There's this big debate as to whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Yes? Okay. So you followed that with another Oscar-nominated role. You actually won 2 SAG Awards for Chicago, one for your performance, one for the SAG Ensemble. Again, I think you subverted expectations because movie musicals at this time were not a safe bet. It really kind of started the trend of major movie musicals, and I don't think people expected it to be as good as it was and to do as well as it did. Were you nervous going into that? I mean, also you have to sing and dance, and
that's what I was nervous about. Yeah, I was nervous about that because these are proper hoofers, and Catherine started on the West End when she was a little girl.
Yeah.
But that quickly sort of took a backseat to the schedule and also just joy of being in the middle of that process and watching it go, just in full force. It was extraordinary to be in the middle of that and watch people who are just so gifted at the top of their games, in their bliss, expressing themselves and this new sort of, way of filming a musical. And what do you say about Rob Marshall's imagination,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in doing another musical?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
Don't notice it.
Really?
Oh, no. It's joy.
Wow.
It's joy. I mean, I look at the schedule and it makes me go, but you don't feel it.
Yeah.
It's your favorite, your favorite friend, it's your favorite hobby, it's your favorite meal, it's your favorite vacation, it's your favorite creative challenge, all rolled into one thing. It was an unbelievable blessing to do that film.
Did you have experience singing and dancing before that, or did you start from scratch?
Well, there was that tiny bit in with Coyote Shivers.
Oh, right.
Empire Records.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that. There was that.
But this is like, you're the lead role in a musical. You're pretty much in every scene singing and dancing. I mean, I can't even imagine the preparation. Where do you even begin?
Well, we were on this stage that they created on a loading dock in Toronto, and we had little stations. It looked like a basketball gym. The main floor, it was about that size, vast, on the periphery, and then you had little rooms off the side that you'd have the piano in there, and you'd rehearse that number in there, and then you'd go over here and you'd work on that song, and then whatever the number was that they were working on that day would be on the main floor, and you would rotate. It was like camp,
That sounds so fun.
It was. It was.
And it's not live, so at least you get another shot at it, I guess.
I dreamt those numbers.
Really?
Oh, I dreamt those numbers because I didn't want to mess up.
Yeah.
Because, you think about the shared numbers and everything that had to go right in every single take in order to complete the scene. And those dancers on, these bungees and the exhaustion that they must experience not even halfway through the day, and then to be asked to continue on and on and on. And then I would just miss a beat or a word or I dreamt about that on Richard Gere's lap.
Yeah. A musical number set on Richard Gere's lap. The press conference.
I dreamt about being the marionette on Richard Gere's lap, and dun, 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 bum, 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 and he pulls me up. I would wake up.
You're kidding, sit up, the string?
Yeah, I would be, my subconscious was working that all night.
Yeah.
And I would wake up when he, on that beat. Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing.
For days. So anyway, so I could say that consciously the pressure, I didn't experience it, but certainly it was in there somewhere.
The following year, you played Ruby Thews in Cold Mountain, another beloved performance that won you so many awards, they had to start making up new ones for you. The SAG Award, the BAFTA Award, the Golden Globe, and of course the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Sure.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks.
That was
really
again
nice. Thanks, y'all. Really, it's really nice.
That was again such a beloved novel. I feel like when you, of course, it turned out to be a great movie. You guys were all great in it. But is there ever a concern when you're doing something that beloved, that people aren't going to respond to it?
I don't think about it that way. I never go outside of the experience. I worry more about that I don't want to, that I want to do my best for the people I'm working with, for my partners in the project. We're all showing up and trying to create this one thing together. And so that's where my mind is. I want to...
Ruby seems like a really challenging character. I mean, she's so much fun. We love her instantly. But, I mean, just the harshness of the shooting conditions and, such a unique character. I'm curious how you sort of found your way into her.
Oh, it helped.
Yeah.
Oh, it helped. It really helped. Everything felt, we got to Romania, and I'm thinking that the government change had only happened about 10 or 15 years before. So it was still very interesting to see what it was from the West, or the modern West, that was being integrated into culture. I remember I had these spaceship sheets on my bed.
What, spaceships on them?
Little spaceship sheets on my bed, and a red towel, and the tag was still on the towel, and I knew that it was a point of pride that this was a new towel.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So the people still lived really close to the earth. You would be driving down the mountain, because we stayed in Poiana Brasov, which was a skiing training, Olympic village, kind of training village, that felt like the land that time forgot. It felt like maybe the swimming pool was built in the 20s and everything else around it. The old gym equipment, if you're ever lucky enough to come across some of that stuff. It's so fascinating to see. But you'd wind down the mountain half an hour into Brasov at the base of the mountain, and there would be farmers in the field, And they kind of, you see a thatched roof sort of hut right there for hanging out, I guess, to watch the sheep and watch the weather, because the weather would determine the work of the day. So you'd see these guys standing out in the fields and looking around to see what was necessary that day.
Wow.
Yeah, the things, it was, what a gift, to live among that for a while. And I learned the cows really do come home.
It's not just an expression.
No, they would go out to pasture at 4 o'clock in the morning with tiny little children, We're worried to let them play in the backyard. And they're marching off to take the cows, miles and miles and miles to the fields. You have to rub your eyes, not sure what you're seeing. And then at the end of the day, if we would go home at sunset, the cows would be coming home. And they know where they live.
That's so interesting.
They knock on the door. It's weird. Hey, see you tomorrow. Yeah, see you tomorrow. They go to their thing and stand outside and moo outside their respective homes.
Wow, that is hilarious.
Sorry for anybody who had steak plans tonight. But isn't that weird? Anyhow. But no, the elements and all of these things just made it, it was very helpful because, she's in the earth. She's of the earth. And it just it was very helpful to live that closely to so many people whose lives are still determined by nature in such a way.
You can actually see your guys' breath so much in that movie because it's so cold, which I guess helps if you're playing a cold character.
Yeah, easier to pretend it's cold when it's cold.
Acting, yeah. There's so many things I want to touch on, movies like Miss Potter and Cinderella Man, but we have to get to Judy because I know we're on a schedule. Okay, I'm looking at you there and still not believing it's entirely you. I don't know if you knew you were up there.
Oh.
Yeah. So I want to start with Judy herself. Were you a fan? Was she someone you dreamed you might play someday, or did that just seem like such a crazy idea?
Oh, it never occurred to me that was a good idea, or that would ever be something that someone would propose. I don't consider myself a performer.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done live performance before, and I didn't consider myself a singer of those sorts of songs. I didn't really have that sort of vocal stamina. So no. But I was always a fan.
Yeah.
I've been asked that a lot, and I don't know if you guys, the people that you just sort of take for granted, because of course they're great. Mm-hmm. Of course she's great, and she's sort of carved out her place among the iconoclastic heroes of, the ages. It was sort of like that. She was always around the house and playing on the turntable and on the reel-to-reel. My dad had a reel-to-reel. So
wow.
I know, cool, right? Where's that? But she was one of those people who sort of defined your life. Mm-hmm. There was, you had Judy Garland, you had Frank Sinatra, you had Bob Hope and Dean Martin, and
you could play all of them.
My mom loved Tom Jones.
Oh, sure.
Oh, she loved Tom Jones. So they were always playing in that, right?
So who?
Something. Still now, the voice is crazy, isn't it?
So who brought the idea to you, and what was your initial reaction?
David Livingston, who's an acquaintance of mine. He worked on, he's a friend of mine. He worked on Bridget Jones a million years ago. And so he had bought the rights to the play.
End of the Rainbow, I think was the name of the play?
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm. And he had hoped to bring it as a play to, I don't know, Broadway or something, I'm not sure. But he missed out on the rights. Someone else got the rights. But no one was asking for the rights for cinema. And so he got the film rights, and he sent it along to John Carpino, everyone, right? And John sent it to me, and I said, why? Yeah, and he said, just read it. Click. He does that a lot. Just finish it. Just read it. He's always right.
I mean, prior to this, you had taken sort of a 6-year hiatus. Did you sort of know by choice, you were like, I'm going to take some time off, and then it just kind of became 6 years, or did you know it was going to be a substantial break?
I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew it was necessary. Mm-hmm. And so it didn't really matter what it was going to be. I just needed to do it.
And then was it, but of course you came back to do Bridget Jones in 2016, and so you were working again. You did a great series this year called What If, that we have a lot of questions about. It was so much fun, yeah.
It was so much fun.
But, coming back to do something as imposing as Judy Garland, where did you even begin? I mean, I don't know, did you take voice lessons? How did you find her voice? Mm-hmm. How did you find her look?
Well, David called and we talked about it, and I was just curious what made him think.
Yeah.
And I explained, I don't sing like that. I have a little voice. And he said, well, why don't you just come to London and we'll just try some things. And I still, I had my doubts. I loved the story, and I loved his reasons for wanting to tell this story, to sort of contextualize the circumstances that she was grappling with toward the end of her life, so that maybe, the whole tragedy thing could be, I don't know, maybe subverted in some way. I loved that, and I was curious. And he said we were going to go record some songs for fun at Abbey Road. So
wow. Okay. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, you don't say no to Abbey Road.
Right? So this might be the worst idea in the whole world, but I was going to go to London. So then we just started trying things. We did an initial photo shoot with just a wig, generic black wig that was available, and we did her stage makeup. And we just took pictures in a room, and just to see how far away we were and what might be possible. And it was oddly similar. It was really strange, because I'd never thought that I shared a likeness with her at all, but it was really strange. And then the music we recorded, he had sent me her recordings from 1968 to listen to, which are quite different from her earlier recordings. Mm-hmm. She was singing in a lower octave, she was singing low register, she was, compromised in certain ways, and she had learned little tricks to find her way around the things that maybe were more difficult at that time. And I played around with that for a while, and we did those recordings, and that's the best day ever in the world, when the taxi drops you off outside of Abbey Road and you go inside. And yes, I did the crosswalk photo. Of course. Here, please, here's my phone. Please. And then I came home. And that was in 2017. And I came home and I started working with a vocal coach to build my voice, wow. Which I didn't believe was a thing, but apparently it is a thing. You can actually manipulate your vocal cords. Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought you're either 5 foot tall or you're 5'9", and that's that. But
can you still sing like that? You must be great at karaoke. Like,
not funny. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that.
Doesn't everyone want you to do Judy songs now?
Can you imagine? I'd be the most boring dinner party guest in the history of the world. Oh no, don't ask Renee. She's going to do Man That Got Away again. No, I promise no. No, but it's a different, there's a difference. It's a notable difference. But, it's work that I'll keep up.
Yeah, really? You will?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Sure. Mm.
I have to talk about the transformative look too, because the shortlist came out today, and Jeremy Woodhead, who worked with you on this look, made the shortlist for makeup and hairstyling.
Oh, that's great!
Yeah. I mean, and you guys did an amazing job together.
That makes me smile. He's so great. I mean, what a sweet person. He's just such a brilliant person to watch him work. And it's the whittling it down to where it's not an obstruction. Mm-hmm. That was really important. And he has the best sense of humor. He was giggling because, to paint the lines, it's an alcohol-based makeup. And so you have to dip in the alcohol. Every girl's dream come true. Yes, please. Please smear my face with isopropyl alcohol all day. He was so cute. He said, we're going to start a line called Degenerate. So he drew it on the bottle, which is about this big. And by the end of it, it's really funny because he would go through the whole inventory, check while we're running between scenes. Okay, got your contacts, yes, the thing, the wig, the thing, you got your teeth, put the teeth in, and okay, you good? Yes, I'm good, go. And I'd run and I go, wait, we haven't done my lines yet. And he goes, so we haven't. So needless to say, we whittled down the time in the chair substantially by the end of the shoot. But no, it was a process. We started with the wig and the makeup, and then we put everything on, the cheeks and everything. We put everything. And then we pared it down and took a million photos, different photo shoots to see what felt, appropriate. And what we got away with was what's left there.
So are you wearing false teeth in this?
Yes.
How do you sing with those?
Well, it's really interesting because sorry, I have my Invisalign braces on right now. So everyone's like, she's wearing them now. And she's still wearing them. But there's this interesting thing that I couldn't figure out. There were a lot of things that were elusive that I could not figure out. I couldn't figure out her eyebrows and how they got up there sometimes. I couldn't figure that out. And then I read this wonderful book by Stevie, I can't remember her last name at the moment, but I actually met her at a screening in New York.
Oh, really?
So exciting. It's a wonderful book. I don't even know how to suggest it. I guess Judy Garland book. She was her assistant and toured around with her and would set up her makeup backstage. She was talking about laying out everything the way that Judy liked it in her dressing room and the tapes. And I thought, whoa, wait a minute, what? The tapes, there are these tapes, and it's called Mr. Something's or Dr. Something's or Facelift, Instant Lift or something. And you tape it here in the hairline, and then it's got a string, and it goes around the back, and you tape it here, so under your wig or your hair, whatever it is, and it gives you like a thing going on here.
Really?
And apparently you can put it here if you pull your hair right here, and you tape it there and back there under your hair, and it gives you a little something there. Yeah, so apparently it's still out there, and the ladies still use it. It's a pretty popular little trick still. But anyway, so there's the eyebrow trick.
That's how she got the eyebrows.
Right?
Okay.
And the teeth. I couldn't, because sometimes they look like this, and sometimes they look like that, and I just couldn't figure out if I just chronologically wasn't looking at, the progression of the wear or whatever it might have been. And then I found that she wore a clip-on veneer.
Really?
From the time she was in MGM as a young person. Yeah. So actually it was helpful because there would be kind of a lispy thing sometimes in the delivery of certain S's and things.
Yep.
And it was helpful for that because I didn't know how that sound was happening either. And isn't that weird?
Well, it's so interesting. I had no idea.
Now they're asleep.
This movie is, it's such a wonderful performance. It's actually full of wonderful performances. And it also deals with things about, what it's like to be in the spotlight and be judged by people who think that they know you. By the way, I love the gay couple that take Judy in, for a night. It's so lovely. I think every character teaches us something. Was there anything you learned from Judy?
Yeah. A lot, really. Courage, tenacity, and the inevitability of carrying on, the necessity to just carry on. And in this process, it was really big. It was a big experience, and I'm sure every actor here, we all know that you take something away from every job that you do, and you learn something about yourself. And I guess that's why we're artists, right? Because we're curious about the world and our place in it, and how we define ourselves or how we recognize ourselves in that world. Yeah, I found my voice in this.
Wow, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know this. I was doing these vocal exercises with a gentleman named Gary Katona. I was working with Eric Vitro and Gary Katona and a gentleman named Mark, whose last name escapes me because I don't know that I ever learned it. He was just Mark. He was Mark. He was my lifeline over in England. Mark. He's fantastic vocal coach. But so with Gary, he does these building exercises, and you sound like, I don't know, maybe if the whale was out of the water making the howling noises, it would be something akin to that. And it in order to develop the muscles, you got to use them. Mm-hmm. And so he'll take you up and down the scale, making these different variations in a note. And in order to do it, you have to go to places that you don't normally access. You don't use that particular point in your throat. And I never expected that there would be an emotional component attached to it. And it makes sense, because you get choked up, right?
Yeah.
When you have an emotional experience, you feel it not just in your heart, but you feel it here, you feel it here. And I didn't realize that I had been speaking in my upper register for probably 20 years. Because you make things okay, right? It's fine. Yeah. No, it's fine. No, that's fine too. That's fine. No, it's fine. Until you're up here going, yeah, no, that's good. Let's do that. He makes you break through all of that. And so whatever it is that you stored up there that's acting as a blockage, it has to go before you can use the muscle and sing the note. So there was a whole lot of that work that went into getting to just the bare bones of what was there to access. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that.
We are so grateful for this beautiful performance. Actually, all the beautiful performances you've delivered over the years. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on all the success. Thank you guys.